hear something on the stream?
But it's okay so far, video-wise.
Do you hear something now, Pete?
No.
For fuck's sake, come on. It should be delayed a little. Still nothing?
No.
Oh, wait. Now I hear something.
Do you hear us talking?
Huh?
Do you hear yourself talking?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. It's fine.
Fucking amateurs. Amateurs, I tell you.
No, it's just delayed.
I know.
Delayed.
Yeah,
Delayed a lot longer than I would think. So.
No, that allows us to make all the mistakes in the world and nobody will ever see them. That's
right?
My theory, at least.
Well, Lord is in the chat, so he might be caught.
Good man. All right. Muting everything under the sun.
Woohoo!
All right. Well, I suppose we can start the show.
Go.
I mean, I suppose that's kind of why we're here. I think. I mean, you know.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly?
I think we're just getting started.
Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode, what episode are we? 659, the Overseas Connection podcast. We are live Sunday. It is 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 3 p.m. on the Central Time Zone. And if you're out in lovely England, it is 9 p.m., I believe. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. A bit of a rough start only because my camera, I noticed, was slightly off right as, of course, the podcast starts. And so I had to make that quick change. And so now everybody can see our lovely faces, hopefully. Anyway, look, we are on every Sunday. So come back, check us out. We also do an audio version of the podcast when we're not having problems with our audio podcast carrier. We'll talk about that shortly. But that's actually... it's technically, I think, been resolved. Anyway, no birthdays this week. Nothing in the world is going on because it's post-Thanksgiving. Everybody has eaten way too much turkey. We are tired. We're feeling lazy. We don't want to do anything. We don't even want to put up Christmas decorations, although some people are. And so it's just, it's that kind of vibe. It's that kind of mood. Nothing's going on in the gaming industry. It is just kind of So let's dive into some story time. I think that would be appropriate.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
Okay, enough of that. Pete, since you are the lone non-Thanksgiving celebrator of this podcast, I would like you to tell us about what your week has been. What did you do to celebrate the greatness that is Thanksgiving?
I went to work.
You went to work?
I went to work. I didn't do anything else. Sorry. Oh, you said happy Thanksgiving to you all.
You did.
And that is pretty much it.
All right. It was an effort. I appreciate that effort.
At least the wishes were from far, far away, and I was with you in spirit. But I couldn't do anything else. I went to work. I didn't come on last week, did I? Last weekend, I was supposed to go out on Sunday. So anyway, Friday. Let's go back to last Friday. Not Friday just gone. The Friday before.
Okay.
I went out with Mike and Tara and Shell, and we went to a thing called Floodgate in Birmingham, and I heard one of Mike's shows, and Stu mentioned that there is a thing called Pit Pat Golf, and that's apparently it's the only one in the country that's, and it's in Birmingham, and all it is crazy golf, but you use a snooker cue, and it's on small like tables, so you just use a golf ball, a snooker cue, and you pretty much playing on these tables. It's pretty funky. You'll have to Google it.
Okay.
So anyway, it's called Pit Pat Golf, and I heard Stu saying that there's one in Birmingham on the show on the Veteran Gamers, and I thought, do you know what? I'll get Mike that for his birthday. And it was around the time that Shell was involved in a car crash, so we had to postpone it, and it ended up being postponed until the 19th? Anyway, the Friday before last. And yeah, that's where we went. And I won. Mike absolutely hated me for it because he's so competitive when it comes to things like snooker. And even though this didn't really involve any snooker skill whatsoever, as much as Mike wanted to believe it did, it was just a stroke of luck. There's no real skill behind it. It's just crazy golf. It's just one of those, isn't it?
No, Pete, I'm sorry. We cannot downplay this. You kicked his ass. You beat him soundly. You gave him a thumping. And Mike has to take it. And Mike has to now live with the fact that, he is inferior to you when it comes to Pit Pat Golf.
Yeah.
I think that's the appropriate tact.
So we went to Pit Pat Golf. That was great. We had a good night. Went for some food. And Saturday, I had my son, Leo. And then Saturday night, something came over me. And I don't know whether it was something I ate or what. I don't know what it was, right? But, I say I don't know what it was. My colitis. I've got ulcerative colitis, if nobody ever knew. So ulcerative colitis is like an inflammatory bowel disease. You get inflammation around the colon, and it can be pretty nasty at times. And I had a flare-up. You get flare-ups from time to time. Sometimes you need steroids to calm you down. Sometimes you've just got to up your medication. Sometimes you've just got to lie down in bed and just try and recover. And it can get a bit nasty sometimes. And I just had one of those weeks. So it flared up Saturday night. We were supposed to go out on Sunday, and I just couldn't go out. I wasn't even I wasn't even well enough to turn up on the show. I couldn't sit here on my backside on this chair because I was just ill. And so I was in bed until Tuesday night, pretty much. I've been bad all week still, and I've only started to, I think it was Saturday. Yesterday, last night, I started to get better as far as pain in my stomach and blah blah blah. And I'm all right. I'm okay today.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a shit week. So it was really, really good weekend, and I was really looking forward to going out on the Sunday. We were going to go out for some cocktails and whatever with a couple of friends, and then it just went to poo. But there we go.
Literally.
Okay.
But towards it did. Yeah. But towards the end of the week, so on Friday, just gone, Mike's company, which some people have seen maybe on his page. But anyway, his video production company has been running for 10 years. It was a 10-year anniversary. So he had a little bash for his 10 years together with Matt and the rest of the team. And it was at the Molineux football stadium. Okay. And it was a nice little room with a good view onto the pitch, and there was lots of nice food. And a bar there as well, and Buxby's and was it champagne? No, Prosecco entrance, and there was some speeches given, and it was good. There was a quiz that was pretty much about it was about the company and about various different things. It helped, I suppose, if you kind of knew Mike a little.
I would think.
I won the quiz.
You won the quiz. Out of all the employees, you won the quiz.
Yeah, along with Shell, we won the quiz. We got, I think it was 16 or 17 points. But I mean, in another team was Marsh, which is Mike's best mate, and Tara, and Marsh's wife. So I had competition. It's not like not like we, and there were 3 of them and 2 of us. So it's not like we didn't have any competition on hand, and we thrashed them by 3 points. And we come first place, and the first place prize was, ring lights? Right. It was a professional ring light on a stand. It's quite, I think it's an expensive little bit of kit.
Right.
It was one of those, and yeah, I think Mike was just hoping that it would go to one of the guests. So because he got like people from, he got clients, he got people that he'd worked with in the past, people from the university. I think the vice chancellor or someone was there from the university. There was a few high profile people there actually, and then I happened to win the.
And then you
prize.
showed up.
and I didn't give it away. I didn't hand it over to anybody else. I thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna. I'll take the winnings. Thank you very
Nice.
much.
Very nice.
I never win much. So yeah, that was a real nice night. It was only a couple of hours, and it was a proud brother moment seeing Mike and his colleagues and all of the success that they were that they've achieved so far, and yeah, long may it continue.
All right.
Then it was Black Friday, wasn't it? We can probably share a bit of conversation about this.
Yes, Black Friday. I think you and Kim partook in Black Friday. I will have a different story for Black Friday.
Oh, okay.
But you guys tell me, what did you purchase? What was and of course our chat, real quickly, we've got Lord and Boomer I see on the chat right now. So if they have any big purchases for Black Friday, definitely post them up. We'll talk about all of it.
Boomer. Yeah, I didn't realise Boomer was on. So, Kim, you go on. You could tell us what you bought first.
Well, I mean, really, Black Friday, I didn't do a lot. I bought a couple of Witcher shirts because Jinx, the website's got a bunch of like different gaming shirts and that sort of thing. They had some Witcher shirts on sale for like $6. So I bought a couple of those because despite my love of The Witcher, I do not have any Witcher apparel. So I thought I needed to remedy that situation. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, that's, I'm trying to think if I bought anything else for Black Friday. Not really, I mean, because all mine's been general Christmas shopping. Like, I bought my dad a new TV for Christmas, but that wasn't...
Okay.
Well,
but Black Friday for you was more Christmas shopping, not so much personal shopping.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I mean, like I said, my T-shirts, so...
That's definitely been something we've done in past years. We use kind of Black Friday as a little bit of a Christmas checkoff list of like, especially for like... brothers, sisters, that kind of thing of, hey, maybe we could pick something up for them during Black Friday. And then home gifts, if you will. But
yeah.
Pete, sounds like you might have had an interesting Black Friday.
Mine was game related, really. I didn't. Do you know what I noticed as well? I go to Tesco to do some of my shopping, my food shopping, and Tesco usually for Black Friday they have televisions and a lot of other electrical produce on, should I say products on the sale, and they did terrible this year. They still had the TVs in the store today.
Really?
On the sales and still stuck at the same price, because usually what I found was I used to go in the next day after Black Friday, because if I bought a television or bought something else, I'd go in the next day just to see if they'd ramp the prices back up, and if they really were advertising it right as a Black Friday sale. Don't know why I do it. It's a stupid thing, but there we go. And lo and behold, I got there. There was still an abundance of TVs. Probably that. Looking at the stocks, they're probably sold about.
My wife has taken this opportunity to break out the blower. She's literally outside my office window at the moment, so I'll mute myself while you continue on.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. I thought someone had took off in my loft. So yeah, I went to Tesco, and they literally probably sold about 20% of their stock. It was quite shocking to see, and all of the TVs and stuff was still there with the Black Friday labels, and yeah, it was kind of weird to see, really. So I can see that they've not really done that well this year. But I found when I look on Amazon and stuff, I get it if you're buying stuff for family and it's for Christmas, but it only seems to be like electronic products in the UK, and it's nothing. The clothing's not great on the Black Friday sales, and I don't know whether it's more of a, well, it is more of an American thing than the UK, isn't it, really? And I just felt like I couldn't find anything apart from because I've been playing on my PlayStation a lot lately, I went onto the PlayStation Store and I saw that Assassin's Creed Odyssey was only £13, so I purchased that. And I know it's going backwards a bit because I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I'm not a massive fan of Assassin's Creed, and that game really made me like the Assassin's Creed, the Assassin's Creed genre again. So I just thought I'm gonna buy Odyssey and see how that goes. And a few people are bigging that up, so I'm looking forward to playing that.
I think you're gonna like Odyssey. It had very much kind of a similar formula that Valhalla has. So it has more of that kind of RPG, but not. I mean, it's a big game though. It's another really big game.
Yeah, I don't mind that as long as it's good.
Right.
So yeah, I bought that £13, which I thought was a bargain really, and I purchased Resident Evil Village, which had been reduced from, I think it was like £49 to £23 on the PlayStation Store. So I just thought that's a pretty good deal, and I thought I'll buy that. I do, even though I've shit on Resident Evil 7 a little bit before a few shows ago, saying that it's not as great as the original lot. I just thought it does look good, Village, and I thought I'll just give it a go. So I purchased that as well, and that's it. That's the only they're the only things I've really bought. But gaming related, something for me to talk about down the line. Yeah. Greg,
right.
what's the sad story on your Black
Oh,
Friday?
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
All right.
Anything else?
So apart from that, there was a bit of snow. So it snowed yesterday in the UK. Absolutely masses of it. So around 2 inches of snow, which has brought the world to a standstill as far as the UK is concerned. I know that's not like America when you get 16 foot of snow, but we got 2 inches and everything come to standstill. It's still on the ground a little bit now. There's probably about 1 inch.
Okay.
So the UK is still in turmoil.
Well, in fairness, if it snowed in California, like in the coastal cities, it would be mass hysteria. People literally would not know what to do. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So, well, my dog enjoyed it. That's the only thing that's enjoyed it over the past couple of days. And during my little spurt of being ill, I watched a little bit more of Why the Last Man, which is something that Phil was talking about a couple of shows ago. I think, 2 weeks ago when I was last on, and I'm really enjoying it. He recommended it. It's just about the premise of it. In short, basically, every man or anything with a Y chromosome all dies at the same time on one specific day. So everything male. So animals, blah, 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 just all collapse and bleed to death. So women are left alone apart from one person, one man and his monkey, who's also male. And it happens to be the next president's son. So go figure. But there we go. It's on Disney Plus. I'm enjoying it. It's quite good. It's quite good actually. So thanks, Phil.
All right.
And that's about it for me.
Okay. Kim, what about on your side?
All right. Well, talking about Black Friday, I'm going to mention, because I know you mentioned you wanted to play this game before, that I almost picked up Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood because Amazon had it on sale for $15. But I've kind of stopped myself because I've read some of the reviews, and the reviews are kind of shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I stopped myself.
Yeah, and not that, I play, great games all the time, and for $15 you kind of think, well, why not? But I also have a fucking to-do list on games that's 10 miles wide, so it's like, well, why add another one when it might suck? So anyway, so if you're interested in Werewolf, it's on sale, but don't go on the Xbox Game Store because it's not on sale there, but Amazon and I think GameStop have it for like $15. So if you're interested, there you go. Also on Black Friday, Boomer said he picked up a new fleece jacket. So there's that.
Nice.
Otherwise, we had our family Thanksgiving yesterday, which is why today I'm a little Thanksgiving hungover. Not because I drank too much, but because I ate too much, and I feel like there's a bowling ball in my stomach right now. So I don't know. It was good. I mean, everybody got along. Anthony, it was funny. I put Anthony in charge of cutting potatoes for mashed potatoes, and he did real well until I come in and told him he was doing real well. And I walked off to do something else, and then he proceeded to cut his finger. So
so colored potatoes.
yeah. So I jinxed the poor boy. But yeah, I mean, we all ate and drank too much and had a good time, and it was all fun.
All right.
So
Excellent.
yeah, and aside from that, I decided to try mead, of all things.
Try mead.
And
okay.
mead, yes. The things like your Vikings drink and whatnot.
Yeah. So I would like a clarification because I actually don't know what is the difference between mead and like an ale beer or a cider. I assume it's somewhere in the middle of those.
Yeah, I would say basically what it is like fermented honey, and they add like a fruit or flowery sort of things to it. Like one I've got cranberries and something else. Like I said, I haven't really read too much into it, other than I know it's like some of them say it's like a honey wine, but this one that I've got is a craft mead, so it's a little different. But I tried one. What day did I get that? Was it Friday? I got one Friday, which is a bottled mead because they have it in bottles and they have it canned. So I got a little bit of both. And I got the bottled one before. I got it on Friday, and it's not bad. It reminds me a little bit of a cider, and it's got blood orange and maple syrup and some other stuff in it.
Okay.
And it wasn't too bad. And like I said, I got a 16-pack. It's got 4 different varieties. And yesterday,
I just want to point out, you're not exactly selling this on me. It wasn't too bad.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's different.
Okay, I mean, is this something like you think you would buy more of, or do you think this is going to be maybe a one-time experiment?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that one was all right. And like I said, I've got more that I can try that are different flavors, varieties, whatever, and one of them might hit the mark. Okay. I will say, you all remember I went on the wine thing trying to find a wine that I liked.
Right.
I completely busted, didn't find one. This is better than wine, at least for me. It may not be for somebody else, but for me, this was better than wine because I just can't. I tried the wine thing, and I just.
Do you prefer sweeter, or do you prefer kind of less sweet and more earthy?
I would say probably sweet more than lightly,
okay.
Because I know everybody was talking about the mead thing that I had to watch because a lot of it was sugar because, of course, fermented honey,
Right.
But, the stuff I have so far, it's been a little dry, which hasn't been bad. It's just been, it's different because, like I said, I've never tried it before.
On the wine front, just for the record, I would recommend to you a Viognier. A Viognier tends to be a little sweeter. It's not going to be.
I will try this.
It's not going to have the tannins, that kind of thing of a red wine. It's going to be white. You can also have it nice and chilled, which I think you'll enjoy better than room temperature. So keep that in mind as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a bottle and a half of red wine that, unless I can find give it to.
Most wine drinkers, the way you start, a lot of people start with like a white Zin or a rosé. Then they move into what they call the whites, the Chardonnays, or the Sauvignon Blancs. But the Viognier is a little bit sweeter than those, typically speaking. So it's going to be kind of sitting maybe closer to a white Zin. And then you transition into the reds. Reds are a totally different beast of wine. And so, I would never ever recommend somebody start at reds. That's a hard pill to swallow.
It definitely was. I tried. I chugged. Well, I didn't actually chug the bottle, but I got through like a half a bottle of one before I finally went, I don't think this one's for me. So, but no, I'd say the mead I've got that I've tried so far, it reminds me a little bit of a cider or like, a Red's apple ale. It's kind of got that little bit going for it, like that. So if you're into that sort of thing, try it. I will try the other 4 varieties and let you know how they go.
Okay.
But it's not bad. and they'll ship it to me, which is nuts because where I live anyway.
Right.
I'm not like the UK folks that can get on Amazon and get bottles of whiskey sent to them. God, if I could though, could you imagine?
Well, these days though, they've been loosening up the restrictions on what they can ship and stuff. So you just might be able to.
And the thing of it is, and speaking of shipping, like I've got a store in St. Louis that will ship me like booze that we don't get around here that you have to like special order or whatever, and they will ship it to me. But shipping is like $35 almost.
Yeah.
So it can get a tad pricey. But like this stuff, if you bought, I think it was $75 worth, you had free shipping. So that was kind of nice. So I kind of padded my cart a little bit.
Okay.
And got free shipping. So that was nice. But Mead, I don't know.
All right, Mead.
Shipping in the States is just nuts, isn't it? I want to get
no, shipping to Ireland is nuts. I sent Robin a 5-pack of Ichiban noodles, which weighs practically nothing. It cost me £27 to ship it to him.
But I wanted to order a bottle of whiskey called Creek Water, which you could only get in the States, and it will only ship to certain states as well. It won't go everywhere.
Okay.
And the shipping for that was, I think it was $25 or $30, and I was just like, "What the hell, man? That is just ridiculous."
Right.
So from states to Ireland, I get that, but in America, I understand it's big, it's on a big scale, but there's a whole lot of freight trains going from one side to the other. So
and like I said, the one that I normally order from is just in St. Louis, which is like 3 hours away from me. Right. So you wouldn't think it would cost that much more to ship it to where I am, but $30. And I'm like, well, unless I have a big order, it's not really worth it, or it's something that I really, really have to have. So
saying that, with the size of your car engines, it'd probably cost you like $70 to go there and back in a car, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
If not more than that. I mean, especially for, what we drive. So I don't have anything that's in the 2000s at all. So yeah. But anyway, Mead, what the hell? I figured, it all started with a Facebook ad of all fucking things. But I had a Facebook ad pop up talking about Mead, and I thought,
there you go.
That's something I've never tried before. So here we are, $80 later, and I've got,
Mead,
a case of fucking Mead. So
live adventurously.
All right. Okay. I guess then that is me. So I'm going to start backwards from my list. Yeah. So I caught the movie Love and Monsters the other day. I had seen this advertised. I never actually watched it. I was very skeptical of it. Turned out it was actually a pretty fun movie. It's about the apocalypse has happened. I forgot what it was. I think a meteor comes and impacts the earth, and a virus was on the meteor that basically impacts all reptilian-like creatures and makes them turn into giant monsters. So they like quadruple in size, and
right.
And the whole premise is it's this one guy who he's alone. And everybody else in all of these little colonies, because the human race kind of goes into colonies that live underground to avoid the monsters. And everybody's shacking up with everybody. And his one love interest lives in another community that's probably about, 10, 12 miles away. But in this world, that is the most dangerous trek you could possibly do. But he decides to set out to find her, and it's just got some funny little bits. I don't know any of the characters in this movie except for the guy who plays when there's one of the characters, the random characters he encounters. It's the guy from The Walking Dead who played Daryl's brother, and I cannot think of his name for the life of me right now.
God, yes.
Redneck. Yes.
Michael Rooker.
Yes. There you go. Yep. So he does a little cameo in the movie. Not a very big role. Pretty much atypical for him as well. But look, it's a fun little flick. It didn't overstay its welcome, and I found it did the job. I also have been watching a bunch of Yellowstone. I'm into season 4 now. I'm completely caught up. And this series just continues to be good. So if you have not ever watched Yellowstone, I would give it a watch. Absolutely good. It is, I don't want to call it, I know some people are like, oh, it's Sons of Anarchy. It's not, Cowboy Sons of Anarchy. Okay. I guess you could kind of make that call.
Sort of, I guess.
But it feels more evolved than Sons of Anarchy, because Sons of Anarchy for me was pretty simplistic in its major concept, and this is to me it's more an evolved Dallas, the old sitcom Dallas, not sitcom.
Well, like I told
drama.
Robin, it reminded me more of Longmire than anything else.
Okay.
If they branched out a little further,
Right.
into what Walt would do and stuff like that. That's what it reminded me of, was Longmire more than, Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
So.
All right. So beyond that, we had Thanksgiving with the in-laws. So we drove down to a place called Coarse Gold, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere in the middle of California. So it's about 3.5 hours south of me. And they live, I'll say, just kind of east, if you will, of the city of Fresno. So again, if you know California, you were pretty much out in BFE. So we were out there Wednesday night. I'm hanging out with everybody. We're watching some TV, and I'm sitting on the ground with Colin, and I'm on my knees, kind of sitting on my feet. Trying to paint a picture here for everybody. And so my feet are kind of tucked back in underneath me, and Colin decides he wants to stand up. And so he starts, kind of leveraging on me to stand up. And we were actually pretty close to the TV entertainment center. And so as he's standing up, he starts losing his balance, because he doesn't have great balance to begin with. And so, I am trying to keep him from falling into the entertainment center at this point, because I'm now panicked that he's going to injure himself pretty bad. So I start to twist him towards me and pull him towards me. Well, Colin also happens to be a bigger kid now. He's 80 plus pounds, and he grabs onto me, and the force of his weight and me trying to pull him back away from the entertainment center, I pull back. And if you've ever seen football injuries where a guy gets his leg caught underneath him and bent backwards, just envision that. So Colin is coming over the top of me, so to speak, and I hear pop, pop, pop. And I instantly have pain shooting down my leg. I actually ended up I released Colin at that point. He bangs his head onto the side of the entertainment center. Good news is he is completely fine. But I pretty much knew at that point, I was confident I had done something very bad. And then upon kind of examination of my leg, I could feel a little clicking. So I broke my fibula. And so I am currently on crutches.
You broke it?
Oh, yeah. Broke my fibula. I am on crutches. I'm in a soft splint. The funny funny part about it, I did not want to go to the emergency room at that point. I knew it was bad, but I also knew nothing was sticking through nothing broke the skin. So whatever damage I did, at least my guess was it stayed intact. So I decided not to go to ER. I was like, I want to avoid going to the emergency room if I can. So I'm going to try and get an appointment with the doctor, not Thanksgiving, but maybe Friday, and have them take an x-ray and just get seen then. Avoid the emergency room was basically my play. Also, I knew if I was going to the emergency room on Thanksgiving, it was going to be packed. I would pretty much miss an entire Thanksgiving. And I'm going to be honest. I knew it probably was my fibula, and I could still bear weight on the foot. So your fibula is your small bone.
It's the smallest,
it's the small bone in your leg. So there's the tibula and the fibula. If you break your tibula, you are SOL. But breaking my fibula, if I just move badly in certain directions, it hurts a lot. But as long as I don't do that, I can stand on it. I can bear some weight on it. So I decide, I'm just going to bear it out. So my Black Friday was going and getting an X-ray at ER.
Did they at least give you half off?
No. It was a very expensive Black Friday. So it was like $260. And I was like, But I got splint. I got, crutches. I didn't even get any good drugs. That was the worst part. The doctor's like, you can probably. Yeah. No, he's like, you can manage this over the counter with over the counter pains. So yeah.
So was that your excess on your insurance, that $250, or is that
no? So
what you?
So what the way insurance? Well, it depends on your insurance plan. But so my insurance plan, there's standard office visits, which are like $25 a visit. But if you go to the emergency room, it's an excessive charge because they want to avoid sending people to the emergency room. So they make it more expensive to go to the emergency room. So you only do it if you really have to go. So needless to say, I broke my leg.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But we still had fun. It was still actually a really fun Thanksgiving. Oddly enough, I look back on it and just nothing but smiles and laughs. We played a bunch of minute to win it games the next night. So I don't know if you're ever familiar with the concept of minute to win it, but it's basically it's like skills challenges that you're performing, and you have 1 minute to do it. So it can be, and the way we kind of change it a little bit, because we end up doing, you have a minute, or if you finish in under a minute, we record your time, and then basically the best time wins. And we bought a whole bunch of lottery tickets, so anybody could win, and they would get 10 lottery tickets to scratcher lottery tickets to see if they maybe won a big prize. Who knows? So we did. Oh gosh, we did a couple of the football challenges, which are basically the little cardboard footballs that you flick into the air, and so we had goalposts set up, and so we were seeing how many field goals you could make with the cardboard football in a minute, how far you could get. And then we did the Oreo challenge, which I actually won, thank you, which is you place an Oreo on the bridge of your nose, and you have to move it down your face into your mouth. Sounds impossible.
Wow. Okay.
Totally not. It's absolutely doable.
I thought you meant the other challenge where you have to lick all of the white off the biscuit. Which have you heard of that one before?
I haven't heard of that one. No.
So if you take the biscuit, if you take it apart, take one chocolate layer off, and then you have to lick the white middle layer. And it's the first one to lick all of that off the other biscuit. Man, that is hard work. I'm telling you. Your tongue it's like a cat's tongue at the end of it.
Yep,
it's so coarse. And it's good fun. You should try that.
No, all right. One of the other ones we had a bunch of red Solo cups, and then one blue Solo cup, and you had to move the cup from the bottom to the top. And you had to take cups off and stack. You're basically stacking this, restacking the stack. So anyway, so it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time at Thanksgiving. So despite the injury, despite the craziness of the moment, it was a very enjoyable Thanksgiving. So yeah, that was me.
Colin's got no pocket money now for the next 2 months.
Pretty much. No, the kids. He's getting his money's worth out of his dad. Let me just put it that way. He's getting his licks in. Anyway, so why don't we transition to let's talk about some video games.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
All right, video games. We love them. Did anybody actually play games over this week? I barely played any game. My gaming was really this morning. So Kim, why don't we start with you then, since you actually got in some good gaming time. Talk to me.
Anthony. Alrighty. Yeah, Friday, Anthony spent the night, and he was... Oh, well, wait. I guess I played 2 games, but whatever. Anyway, I'll talk about the other one too. Anyway, Anthony was bugging me Friday night about playing games, so I got a hold of Boomer to see what he was up to, and I'm like, Anthony's driving me nuts. Do you want to play something? Well, we didn't really want to play COD because, well, COD. And we've been on a Gears kick lately, so he's like, you want to play Gears? I'm like, well, I don't know if we can co-op the campaign or not, but we'll try it. Well, come to find out, we couldn't co-op the campaign with, like, the three of us. If me and Anthony wanted to play it, then fine, or me and Boomer wanted to play it, fine, but we couldn't do all three of us. So we switched it to Horde for Gears 4, and we played that for, hours. And it was fun. What was hilarious was I would sit there, and of course I tend to get a little mouthy when I'm playing video games, and it seemed to rub off on my 8-year-old nephew, because we were sitting there and he was starting to get a little agitated because we made it to wave 10, and y'all know wave 10's the boss wave.
Right.
And we were getting agitated because they kept throwing carriers at us, and then one was was it a pouncer? No, it was a snatcher. The one that swallows you up and then, spits you out and you're dead. And we got stuck, kept getting stuck, just kept dying. We couldn't make it. And so finally we're all sitting there, and all of a sudden we're killing the Horde and all that. And all of a sudden I hear Anthony go, "Die, you cocksucker!" And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So he may have picked that up for me because I'm sure I probably said that earlier and
may have.
I didn't.
Okay.
So yeah, it was fun, and finally after I don't know, I think we did up to wave 10 on a couple of different maps to try to find a way that either one, they wouldn't throw the carrier at us, or two, we could find a map that would kind of slow his ass down so we could beat him. And we finally did. And wave 10, they threw a carrier at us. We killed all the rest of them, and then we focused on the carrier, and we killed it. And I think we played up until 16, and by that time I was getting tired. So yeah. Gears 4 Horde. If y'all want to play Horde some night or something, hell, let me know. I do love Horde, and I'm getting used to the new way of Horde because, of course, this Horde is different from when Gears 3 had Horde a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there. So
I'm really jealous that we're not on the same timeline because I'd really want to play this game with you and everybody else. Yeah, I love this, but we'd have to work it out timing wise. That would be the only difficulty.
Just have to set up. We had to get a weekend game time set up, and we just commit to it.
Yeah,
exactly. So
commit to it, Pete. Commit to it.
I could do it on a day that I've not got Leo. Yeah, that would work. It'd just have to be down to timing. We'll work something out. I want to go because I look at this now and I'm like, oh, yeah. I sent you screenshots, didn't I, of the Xbox museum that you sent me a link to, Greg.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if you want to explain what this is. You'll probably explain it a lot better than me.
Well, yeah. So for those that don't know, for the 20th anniversary, Xbox released this Xbox museum, which when I first heard about it, I was like, it's going to be something kind of, willy-nilly. It's probably not that great, but it's actually a really cool, I'll call it an app. It's a browser-based app that you log in with your Microsoft Xbox Live account name and info, and they pull all of your Xbox data as long as that account has is you used it the entire time. They will go back through your history, and so for me, I saw the original Xbox game. Information. I saw Xbox 360. I saw Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and so they kind of show you this big timeline, but it's done in this virtual museum. It's really kind of cool. You have this little avatar that you walk around the museum. You're seeing different floating signs, is the best way I would put it, that has different kinds of information on it. So like I saw that the first day I ever signed into Xbox Live, which was November 16th, 2002, which is the day after they actually launched Xbox Live. So that was a kind of a pretty cool moment to think about. I was like, holy shit, I've been literally in Xbox Live since its start. So Pete, that's the app. It's very cool. Go check it out if you haven't already seen it.
It really is. I don't normally like those little gimmicky type of things, but I saw Greg's first login and I thought, I wonder what mine is. And I think mine was around 2005. So I was a bit of a latecomer, but yeah, it's still a long time we've been attached to that service. Right. So and it was very evident what type of games I like when you looked at my most played games, because it was pretty much like, I think my most played game was Gears 3, and I stuck my life into that, and I managed to get the Seriously 3, which, if you've ever seen that achievement on there, it's absolutely insane. It's hardcore, and I got that achievement. So if anybody else wants to compare cock sizes and see if you've got that, then that's fine. But I'm happy with my Gears achievements, and I love Gears of War, and pretty much COD 2, I think, was it Modern Warfare 2 was another one that was on there. That was another one of my biggies. But I really enjoyed seeing that, and that's given me the bug, looking at that and just seeing, like, Gears being one of my favorites. I want to play again.
I was going to try and load up a shot of the museum, but apparently it sent my computer into panic mode. So the stream started to stutter. I'm like, nope, fuck that. No, we're not showing that.
Nope. Crash the podcast over in the museum.
Right.
Yeah, but I thought that was really, really nifty. But did you download it, Kim?
Yes, I did. And I actually, right now, I couldn't tell you what day I started. I'd have to look it all up again. But pretty much, my favorite games were RPGs. I think Gems of War, which y'all pick on me about it, but Gems of War was actually one of my most played games. Go figure. Dragon Age Inquisition was on there. I think Red Dead 2 was on there, and believe it or not, I think Black Ops was my most played game ever. Because I remember we did play a bunch when it came out. We did play a bunch of multiplayer for Black Ops. So I mean, shit, I was surprised because I figured Gears 3 would probably be one of the ones that would be one of the most, and I think it might have been up there, and I figured it would have been the top one because we played the shit out of Horde.
Well,
but
I was really surprised that Assassin's Creed Valhalla didn't end up on there. And the other thing I couldn't work out neither, which I'll have to Google, is my rarest achievements, because it comes up with like the top rarest achievements that you've got. And I was expecting Seriously 3 to be on top of that, but no, there was these other 3, and I've never seen them before, so I'm going to look back and see what games they come from. It's probably like some stupid game where you can get 1,000 points in like 10 minutes, and nobody else has played it because it's just a stupid game. But apart from me, it was being achievement whore. But it was good. It was good. I can't remember what we was originally talking about. Was it?
I don't know. We can just transition into what you were playing, because we were talking about Kim's game in terms of Gears of War.
I also played some Forza Horizon 5 this week. I'd forgotten about it, but I did fire up Forza Horizon finally, and it was good. So it was like the last Forza Horizon.
Uh-oh.
Does he not really give you the push to play more of it, or is it just it's just an extra?
I'm not super big into driving games. I mean, I used to be way back when, but I mean, it's fine. It looked pretty. It was great. The cars handled all that and everything, but it still did kind of remind me a lot of 4, because it's still kind of the same thing. You go around and you do challenges, and you're driving down different roads to uncover things and that sort of thing. So I don't know. It was all right. I'm not saying it was bad or anything like that, but it didn't exactly blow my socks off either. So,
not your kind of game. I get that.
But I mean, I'd be up to, if we had some sort of Forza night or something like that, where we all were just driving around and doing stupid shit, I'd be totally up for it. If we got like a bunch of off-road trucks and decided to, do whatever, I'd be totally up for it. But it's not, like you said, it's not one of the games I'd be like totally, all up for.
Well, I think number 4 is going to take some beating, as far as like, if you're going to produce another game in that franchise, you need to be really, really coming up with some original ideas, something completely out there, new, and they were off the scale. I mean, to me, looking at because I've only seen footage of it, I've not actually played it, even though I've got it on my Xbox. It just looks like an expansion pack of 4, and I'm looking forward to playing it. But at the same time, I'm just worried that I don't want to just fall down that like rabbit hole of playing the game and then just getting to the end of it going, oh man, I wish I hadn't just put all that time into it because it just feels like number 4, and I'll probably just duck out, just like I did with the Avengers game. I've give up. I thought I was gonna play that game through, but you know what? I've just turned it off. I've deleted it.
Pete, I'm right there with you. That Avengers game, it hit this weird spot where like the story kind of stops, and then they get into all of these individual missions for all the different characters, and it just loses me. And I think that was the moment the game was turning into a games for service as opposed to a single player campaign, and it just I wanted nothing to do with it at that point.
And I find the whole like the menus at the start very confusing. That you have to, I mean, continuing just from where you kicked off is never straightforward. You feel like you're trolling through all the way through the menus and stuff just to find out where you started, and it's just not straightforward to me at all. When you've not got much time and you just want to get it back into your game, you just want to load it up, click continue, and just get on with it. I felt like that was a big chore, and there was like all pop-ups coming up saying, you know, there's this expansion pack now, there's this skin, there's this competition, there's this, and I was like, fuck, delete. I've had enough of it.
Delete.
And I really wanted to get into that game because I was quite blown away with it at EGX, and I've queued God knows how long for it with Josh, and I just really wanted to, really wanted to play that game, and I was disappointed, I suppose. I think that was the thing. I was just disappointed with it, and that always stuck in my mind as I got further and further into the game, and I just thought, forget it, I'm just going to turn it off. So that's what I've done. And I played Rocket League. Oh, God. I fell into this trap now. I'm going to start sounding like Duke, I think, if I keep playing it the way I do. There's nothing to really talk about, is there, with Rocket League, apart from you just boot this, knock this ball around.
It's fun.
It is fun, and it's. I suppose me and my son also play it together, so it's an opportunity for us two to play something where we're gaining new skins and goal explosions and blah blah blah, and we're achieving these things together, and we have there's camaraderie there. It's good. We have a good time playing it. So. It's Rocket League. I've even installed it on my PlayStation now because I found someone who's someone at work who's got a PlayStation, and I've known him for years, and we trust each other, so we're gonna like share accounts. we're gonna share accounts, and he's pretty much starting to buy games digitally now. So we're gonna go off each on stuff, and I think he's downloaded Rocket League, and I've got him on The Last of Us at the moment though. I've said he needs to play The Last of Us, so he's playing that at the minute. And once he's got through that, we're going to start up Rocket League, and we'll just kick some serious ass once we start. But I feel like I don't want to get into that trap like every week that I'll come in and go, oh yeah, all I've been playing is Rocket League, because I don't want to fall down that rabbit hole, but I can see it happening. But anyway. Another game I've been playing is Days Gone. And this is something that I downloaded, I think, through PlayStation Plus. So I'm starting to use my PlayStation now more than my Xbox, believe it or not. I'm really sorry for all you Xbox fans.
It does not offend anybody. You're just playing on a platform where you have some games you're playing. That's all.
It's one of those, yeah. But I'm even starting to buy games now.
That's
on
okay.
PlayStation.
You're allowed to, Pete. You're allowed to.
I know.
Right.
But it's good to have that little I suppose that little balance of PlayStation play, because I know Mark plays his PlayStation, doesn't he? So we've got a little bit of a balance on who plays PlayStation and Xbox. But I'm starting to really like the controller and the way the menus are. I've never really got on with the dashboard on the Xbox, even though I'll continue with the Ultimate Service. Game Pass, and I'll download games when they come out and play them and blah blah blah. When I buy games now, I'm gonna buy them on the PlayStation. So I downloaded Days Gone through, I think, the PlayStation Plus service, which is all part of that. So it's a little bit like Game Pass, isn't it, to a degree, but not as good. And so this game is almost like post-apocalyptic zombie survival. Open world. It reminds
Wait,
me.
hold on. It almost is like, or it is like, because I feel like it is like.
Sorry, it is. It is. Sorry. It reminds me of two games put together, and that is GTA and State of Play. Is it State of Play? No, State of Decay. State of Decay 2. So I've not played number 1. So State of Decay 2 and GTA just smashed together in one little ball, and it's really, really good. There's the main character in the game. I think his name's Deacon. He's your main character, and his girlfriend, Katie, I think her name is. Can't remember now. No, Sarah. Oh, it don't really matter, does it? Sarah, I think it is, and Boozer. So Sarah and Boozer, you're on the top of this building. There's a helicopter that's dropped on the top, and your girlfriend's injured and your friend's injured. And what he ends up doing is putting his girlfriend onto the chopper, asking the chopper driver where they're actually going, and saying to his girlfriend, "I'm going to stay with Boozer because he's not going to make it out of this town. I'll meet you at the rendezvous point, and where they're gonna fix you up because she was injured." So that's the premise of the story, and it all goes to shit. And it's basically Boozer and Deacon just trying to survive, just trying to get on in their own little environment, hoping that they'll at some point get in touch with Sarah. But as far as things are going, they've not met up yet. It seems like a very big map. It feels like the travel between different destinations is quite long. Mm-hmm. And even though on Red Dead Redemption you're on your horse quite a lot and you're riding around to try and get to the next village, there's so many zombies that are in and around this environment. And what they do as well is, sometimes when you're on Red Dead Redemption, you're going through certain pathways, and then you'll come across like some raiders, and they'll block your path, and they'll end up, trying to shoot you down and stuff. That every like bunch of zombies that you go through are all coming to get you. If you've not got zombies after you, you've got wolves. If you've not got wolves, you've got bounties, which are other people on motorbikes and other biker gangs that are pretty much coming to kill you. And the zombies don't only just stand there or get in the way, they actually dive at the bike and they knock you off the bike as well. So it's not like you can easily evade these zombies. That some of them lunge after you and knock you off your bike, and you end up in this battle situation where you can pretty much get killed very easily. And the one thing I've found with this game is, compared to The Last of Us, is your health limit. It just seems to deplete so quickly, and you could die very quickly. And you're constantly crafting weapons as well, by picking up different bits of gear, or different like cans of oil and stuff. You can make Molotovs, but the whole of your weapon system is all based upon just finding stuff and crafting it together. And I feel like it's a bit like Resident Evil to a degree. Like you feel like you run short, and then all of a sudden you'll come across a town, and then you've got an abundance of it, and there's too much, and you never go back. So when you move on to the next destination, you feel like you've not got enough. So I think it's a really, really good game. I think graphically it's not as good as The Last of Us, but story-wise so far, it's good. Again, if you compared it to The Last of Us, I wouldn't say it was as good as that story, but it's pulled me in. I'm investing my time into it, and I do think it's good. So where it reminds me of State of Decay 2 is where infestations are in towns. So in State of Decay, there's various infestations, isn't there? There's infestation missions where you have to go to towns and kill X amount of nests. Well, this is the same. When you come to a mission, you've got a destination that you need to get to, but you can't get to it straight away because there's a smaller town en route that is infested with 3 to 5 nests, and you have to kill all of the nests before you can move on. And it feels like there's that element of State of Decay too. Okay. So I'm getting that vibe from it as well, but it doesn't feel it doesn't feel as complex as and strategic as State of Decay 2.
Right.
You've still got
you're
that
not managing.
real.
Yeah, you're not managing a squad, so to speak. It's just you and your buddy, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
your
the
bike.
storyline is I mean, the storyline is very driven, and you've got your bike to repair, you've got your bike to refuel. You've got your own weapon crafting to sort out. So stocks and your equipment does deplete and break very easily, but you feel like you're in more control than you are with State of Decay, where you've got your team that just play up and you lose. You can lose control very, very easily, can't you?
Right.
And I feel like there's more element of control on this game. I think it's great. And like I said, I as part of the subscription service, I haven't paid a penny for it, and it's well worth it. If anybody else has come across it and thought, well, shall I play it or not? I reckon it's a must. I don't think I've got that far into it. I think I'm about 20% into the game. It's pretty brutal. It don't hold back on blood, gore, and it is like that. That's with The Last of Us. There's these things called tickers or clickers,
right?
And they're walking around, and you're trying to pretty much evade those. And sometimes you need to sneak upon some of them and stab them with a shift with a knife anyway, and stab them in the head. It's exactly the same with these. There's a lot of stealth, and sometimes you just get seen so easily, and then you can come across hordes as well. There's hordes that just wander through villages and towns, and you don't even know they're coming. So once you're in a battle with maybe 2 or 3 zombies, all of a sudden you've got about 50 of them starting to run after you, and you just shit in your pants, and it's awful. And you dive into this bin, and you got 50 zombies clattering this bin, and then they tend to. So you have to wait for like 5 minutes for all these zombies just to go away. It gets the old heart pumping as well. There's so many elements to the game that I love. And there's also, I think there's 2. It looks like there's 2 villages that you have to try and please, and you pledge allegiance to one of them, and you got that choice as well at the start. So I think you're trying to manage the relationship between the 2, and you don't really want to piss them off neither, because one's trying to sort out all of the parts of the bike, and they're good for one thing, and then the other one is good for weaponry. So you don't really want to pee anybody off as well. So you're trying to be like very neutral as far as it comes to being a decent person, or a nasty one. You just want to be smack banging them with all brutal at the same time.
I realize
I'm loving it.
So a question though, do your decisions actually have impact on the game, or is it feel more surface?
I can't say that yet, answer that, because I'm not far enough into the game, but I've got a good feeling that it will affect it. I've not returned to the village who I've decided against at the moment, so I'm wondering when I get to that village whether there'll be any conflict, or there'll be a reduction in things that I can buy, because when with the one I favoured to, which was the village that helped me craft my bike and upgrade my bike a lot easier. There was more parts, and things seem to cost less. So I reckon I'm heavily discounted on one, and I'm going to be overcharged on the other when it comes to weaponry. But like I say, I've not got too far into it yet, and but I'm really enjoying what I've played so far. I like it, so yeah, I don't want to go on anymore because I feel like I've been talking ages about it. But it's good.
Okay.
Days gone.
All right, Days Gone. Well, I guess that leaves me. So Indeed. For me, it's been a lot of Halo Infinite multiplayer. Was playing quite a bit of that this morning. Just kind of finally just getting a moment to actually play some games, because I just really didn't have that prior to this. And let me skip through the ads there before we look at this. So anyway, again, I think Halo Infinite is really doing well right now because it's such a polished experience. I think the gameplay is super smooth. There's not any major bugs or glitches, unlike Battlefield. So it's just been a great, enjoyable experience. I can't say I don't have any real complaints about the progression system, although I started playing it since they've kind of tweaked it a little bit. So every match you're earning some kind of, experience to go towards your quote unquote battle passes. I do hope they tweak it a little bit more to where, because I know a lot of people are saying, it's a lot of challenge based experience that you win in the matches, which ultimately I think leads to people just going for those challenges because they're trying to get the experience to win stuff in their battle passes. So, it might be get 5 grenade kills. And so all you're doing is chucking grenades. You get your 5 grenade kills. And then suddenly you might be like, okay, well, I'm done with this match and move on to my next challenge. So you do get experience just for being in a match. But, again, I'd rather like maybe, some experience doled out around your kill to death ratio or kills, things like that, to where it's just a little more performance based as opposed to strictly challenge based. But outside of that, I mean, the maps are great. The sound design, again, I love the sound design in this game. I think one of the greatest things they did, which was really missing for whatever reason, I never noticed it in previous Halo games, but it's the ambient sound. So the surroundings of, things in the arena or in, wherever you're fighting are, there's additional sounds. And that just was never really there in the other Halo games. So, you would hear other players in the gunfights of those other players, but you never heard, like in the new Infinite matches. And I forgot which one it is. I want to say it's like Capture the Flag or something to that effect, but it's on the bigger maps. There's a map where you see 2 capital ships in the sky. And when either team scores, and I think it's Stronghold, but anyway, when either team scores a point, the other ship will fire on the other ship. So your ship fires on the other ship and the other ship fires on the other ship. And so you hear it and you see it. And it's just this, again, it's this little thing that they applied into the game. But it makes for a better experience. It is absolutely buttery smooth, good, no complaints. And my experience in the matches, I've had a couple great matches. I started off doing really well. Then I had a couple matches where I got my ass handed to me. And that's one of the things about Halo that I also really enjoy is that as you play more, you get better. And so I've learned some little tricks. And there are some great tip videos out there, but one of the tricks I learned, which I had never noticed before, to be honest, is when you're fighting against another character or another player and you've weakened them to where their shields are down, you'll see like this little electric arc around them. It looks like red electricity. And so that indicates that their shields are gone. And so now any damage you do to them is going to be to the meat of their body, if you will. And so, that's, again, one of those things in Halo that your health and your shield in particular will regenerate. Your health doesn't necessarily regenerate, if I remember correctly, but your shield definitely does. And so if you're shooting into somebody and you weaken their shield, then, maybe try and go for the headshot at that point, as opposed to continue to hammer their body. But also, likewise, if somebody else is shooting at them, you can definitely see, when that happens, it's just a visual cue for you, to know that you are close to getting them killed. Another thing down on the D-pad will help highlight different areas for weapon spawning. And so you can see if there's weapons spawned near you on the map. Again, just helping you navigate. And the last thing, and I never knew, but this was, learning the maps, but the area you're in, always the name of it appears in the lower left hand next to your radar. So, house window, like I'm looking on screen right now, it says house window, turbine. It will change based on where you're going. And so as you learn the maps, and you're playing with other people, hopefully in a party, you can make those call outs and then hopefully they know where you're at or where you're calling out to, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, they're on me," because.
Is there a tagging system in this as well? Can you tag other players when you're in a group before? Or...
What do you mean by tag? Like a ping system?
Yeah,
there is a ping system. I think it's up on the D-pad. I'm not positive on that. Yeah. So I know there is a ping system. It's not nearly as robust, I think, as say like a PUBG or a Fortnite type ping. But or actually, I will say I think Call of Duty's ping system is actually pretty great. Very straightforward, easy to use. But because of the call-outs and the visual cues on screen, the ping system for Halo is not necessarily as important as it would be, say, for Call of Duty. You're also usually smaller parties. The maps are definitely going to be a little bit smaller than your typical COD. But yeah, it's been really fun. I've definitely been enjoying it. So yeah, you know what, and the great part, free to play. So Pete, we're gonna have to play some Halo Infinite multiplayer. I'm just telling you now.
Oh God!
Come on, okay. We'll get some matches in. All right, I think that is it for games that we have been playing. So we can transition into. Honestly, what else is there to transition into? I don't think we have any victories achieved this week. There's no news. The news in here is left over from last week. I think the one thing upcoming and probably worth talking about is the VGAs are next week, or is it the week after? I think it's December. Is it 8th? Maybe it's the 8th.
Look.
So it might be 2 weeks away from now.
December 9th.
Okay, December 9th. So that really is, I think, the only industry big thing happening in the near future. I don't really anticipate any big news to come from it. But the only news story I heard from Black Friday was that the Xbox Series S was the biggest selling console out of all of them. Now, I think that's because it was the most readily available out of all of them. But I did hear an interesting comment from somebody, and I kind of, I wanted to get your guys' take on this. 4K is not a next gen feature. And I thought about that, and I was like, well, we had 4K in last gen. So it really isn't a next gen feature. Is it a standard? I think 4K is kind of becoming a standard for next gen. But I think this generation of consoles, if nothing else, it really it's emphasized the processing, the speed of getting into games, and I think that's been really in 4K. Checkerboarding we saw does just as well sometimes as a native 4K resolution. So to sit there and say, "Oh, it's got to be 4K," to me is a little bit disingenuous, because I don't think most people can tell the difference. So I don't know. I'm really kind of interested to see how we transition. The next 2 years in the console space is going to be kind of interesting, because I do expect some next gen refreshes to happen. But are they going to happen in 2 years? That would have been the normal time frame. But because they've barely been able to get any consoles out, I mean, the PS5 is still barely found. Xbox Series X is barely found anywhere. So, is this? Are we just going to have a very long generation? Maybe that's a question. Do you think we're going to have an extra long generation this time? Normally, there's 7 years. We're 2 years into this now, and barely any consoles have been sold.
Yeah, right. I think you're talking a decade, aren't you? I reckon.
Yeah.
Probably. I would say.
But I mean, a decade, 10 years of this console, are they going to be able to hold up? That's where it's like, okay, is this just going to be a weird blip of a console generation where it's going to feel like it's just getting started, but the hardware is going to be moving forward again, and so we're going to have to, in a sense, it's almost a lost generation.
I don't know, but we can hang on to the consoles to sell them for thousands, like in years to come.
Yes,
if it is a lost generation. Do you remember those bloody PS5s and Xbox Series X's? What a crock of shit! And here's us trying to champion them. I don't know. I'm not massive into all of the 4K and ray tracing and all of that jazz. It's not my thing. I'm all about the quality of the game and what it delivers to me as just enjoyment.
Okay.
The graphics is not for me. So as far as that goes, that they could release something for the next 20 years, I think, on this. I don't mind waiting times. Whatever, I could hold a decade, but some people might not be able to. And like you say, with hardware changes, they could slow it all down. I mean, they can't get the hardware out now, so they may like mass produce something eventually, but I don't think they're going to be able to unless it changes significantly and they're using different parts with different components and different materials, which I don't think they're going to be. I can't see something coming out and being mass produced when they can't mass produce the original. Well, sorry, I should say an older product. Who knows?
Okay. Kim, any thoughts here? You think we're going to get a new generation sooner, or do you think it just it goes a full 10 years?
I don't know though that necessarily it will go maybe the full 10 years, but I do think it's going to hold up for longer because they aren't getting the product out there. Because I know people that are still trying to find. I mean, I'm kind of half-assed looking for PlayStation 5, not anything real serious, and I mean they're still hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And the other thing, there's still a big emphasis on the previous gen as well. Like everything I'd look at on PlayStation Plus, it says it's either from PS4 or PS4 compatible, and they're not trying to like pigeonhole all of that stuff and saying, oh yeah, that's all really old now. They're still giving the people who have got all of that hardware a chance to play some of the newer games on some of the older generation consoles, which they're probably doing that as well because they can't sell them or they can't get them out there to the people. But whether that would have changed, whether they could have got them out there, like a pack of sweets, then I don't know. It just feels like how much can this stuff improve, really? I mean, they're shit up now, aren't they, these computer games? They're so good. Like, even Shell was looking at the one game and was just like, oh my god, this is so realistic, and it's like playing a story. I was like, yeah, this is how it is. You feel like you're investing into a real life story. It's wicked, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, the good news is we don't have to worry about it right now, right?
No, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Kim, let's just do a quick transition. Games coming up. I guess we do have some new releases finally.
A few, yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. We
can do that. Alrighty, your new releases from November 28th to December 4th. Yes, folks, we are going into December already. We have Oddworld Soulstorm, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One on the 29th. Beyond the Steel Sky for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on the 30th. Evil Genius 2 World Domination, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox 360. Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Why not?
I can't really preview these real well, but yeah, it's copied directly from the site. So yeah, Xbox 360. Okay then. On November 30th, Fight in Tight Spaces. All right. For the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One and PC, December 2nd. Solar Ash for the PS4 or PS5, PS4, and PC on the 2nd as well. Chorus for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC on December 3rd. Then we have Danganronpa Decadence for the Switch on December 3rd, and Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp, which releases in December, but okay, for the Switch as well on December 3rd. Summer camp game for the... okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I think those are some of those weird Japanese, Chinese type games. Anyway, whatever. But anyway, those are your new releases. So enjoy your Ultimate Summer Camp in December. Whatever. So.
Yeah. Some interesting games there. Oddworld, I think that was a PlayStation exclusive for timed exclusive of last year. Evil Genius 2, I'm maybe take a look at that. That's kind of where you're playing the bad guy and you're trying to set up all the traps to kill the good guys trying to stop you. So that might be interesting, but it's an end of a year kind of list.
Right?
I think the only big games we have left to really think about is the campaign for Halo, which comes out the following week, the week of December 8th. And then after that, I don't think there's anything else coming out this year. I think it's all pushing into 2022, which is crazy to think that we're even saying 2022 at this point.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But Xbox 360, go figure. They're still making games.
That's got to be like Xbox One X, hasn't it? That or something. That's a mistake, sure.
I'd hope that's a typo, but I guess.
Now, you know what? You never know. Maybe they had that build, and they're just like, you know what? We could release it too. Why not?
Yeah, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already done it. Why the hell not?
Yeah, because that was pretty much going off on everything. But anyway, all right. Let's wrap this up. I think we've overstayed our welcome at this point. Everybody, thank you for tuning in, watching. We will have the audio version, of course. So if you want to re-listen or just listen while you're maybe at the gym or sitting in the ER for that fact. And we hope you're not in ER. We truly do. Pete, why don't you start some shout outs? Let's go.
I'm going to shout out Phil for recommending that TV series, Why the Last Man. I thought that was really, really good. I've not finished it yet, but yeah, I'm going to shout out Phil. I'm going to shout out Mike for being a sore loser at Pit Pat, and myself for absolutely smashing it and winning. I've got 5 hole-in-ones, in that.
Nice.
Yeah, he hated it. So shout out to Mike and shout out to you guys as well. It's nice to be back having a week away. So that's me, Kim.
Alrighty, I'm gonna shout out our shatters. There's been a couple. Lord was in here, and Boomer's been here in the show. So during the show. So thanks guys for popping in the chat and keeping me entertained while we're doing this little podcast thing. Have a good week, everybody. God knows my week started off a little rough, but it ended pretty good. And hopefully this week starts off better than last week. And have a good week, everyone. Shout out to you guys. It's always a blast. So besides half the time, you guys are usually the only adults I get to talk to during the week, unless it's Dad. So
it's really not saying much.
I know, right? Still, it's nice in the way.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you.
And my Mead adventures continue. So.
Yes, the Mead adventures continue. Pete, Kim, thank you both for being on the show. I don't think I've talked to Pete with you for a while, so it's always nice to see you back in. Kim, you're like Old Faithful. Yeah.
I do what I can.
I'd
say something about blowing there, but it'd be wrong.
I know. I was going to say something about blowing and wet, but I'm not gonna. We are going to move on. Shout out to Mark. Hope you enjoyed your time with the family. I think they were doing Christmas lights and seeing the lighting of a tree somewhere. So I'm assuming that all went lovely.
I don't know.
Yeah, something. Yeah, there's Coca-Cola mentioned there too. Shout out to Robin. He is daddy daycare right now, at home with the kids, man in the fort, and I think one of the little ones has a bit of a temperature, so hopefully everything is fine there. Shout out to Phil. Phil working hard, helping his wife out with an upcoming show, so good on him. Shout out, of course, to our listeners in the community. Come back next week. We will have some conglomerate of this crew. It'll be me, it'll be Kim, it'll be Pete, or it will be none of us, it'll be somebody else. But we will be back. We'll talk more games. And shout out to the ER. Kaiser ER. Amazingly fast. I was only in there for 3.5 hours. I thought I was going to be in there far longer. So there's that. All right.
It is if you're going to be paying fat stacks like you have. They're like, oh, here he is. Let's get the money out of this sucker.
Yeah.
He's got $250 all over him, he has.
Yep. Yeah. I will say something fun to do if you're ever just bored. Go sit in an ER lounge and just watch all the people coming in. It's quite interesting. Yeah, I don't recommend the breaking the leg thing, by the way. That you can pass on. But watching an ER lobby, that is pretty interesting. Yeah, there's all kinds of types. Anyway, all right, we're done. That's it. That's a show. Thanks, everybody. Come back next week. We'll talk to you then.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.